Welcome, ladies and gents. Chris Andre here. You can find me at BetBoxing on Twitter, or of course you can subscribe to the channel. Let's talk boxing. Let's start off talking about Saul Canelo Alvarez. He has been offered a deal, a 2-fight deal, worth upwards of $85 million, according to Mike Coppinger. DAZN and Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing would expect him first to fight Dimitri Bivol, the WBA light heavyweight champion of the world. It would be a terrific step up for Canelo against a fantastic fighter who has supreme levels of distance control. We've seen him hurt in the past. We've seen him quite severely rocked, to be honest with you, but it came just at the end of a particular round against Joe Smith Jr. Had it come earlier in the round, who knows how that could have turned out. Perhaps Canelo's seen that and he thinks, you know what? I can get to Bivol. I can get to that body. He likes to fight somewhat upright. Maybe I can work that body and eventually, with misdirection, bring those over the top right hands. And if Joe Smith can hurt him, why can't I? Maybe that's the mindset. Either way, Dimitri Bivol will look at it and say, you've never been in with a boxer like me in his prime. Yes, you've been in with Sergey Kovalev, but he wasn't quite at his best. I'm going to be able to keep you at bay. This is a terrific fight as a result. It's one where you can envisage either guy potentially winning the fight. It makes it very, very interesting. The second fight would be none other than Triple G, Gennady Golovkin. Now, long-time subscribers will know I personally felt that Gennady Golovkin established his superiority when he met Canelo Alvarez. I felt that he won the second fight too. And to be honest, listen, I don't do fanboying on this channel at all, but it does trigger me. I'm not going to lie. When people feel that Canelo Alvarez won the second fight, I just can't see it. I've watched it so many times. I thought it was very close through 8 rounds. After that, in the championship rounds, Golovkin pulled away. And I will always feel that, and I'm not saying it's the biggest robbery. Like I said, it was a very close fight through 8 rounds. Just like Anthony Joshua and Alexander Usyk was a close fight through 8 rounds. But there was a clear winner. And that's how I feel about this one. There was a clear winner, and Gennady Golovkin won that fight. Nonetheless, it was two great fights between two great fighters. The thing is, though, Gennady Golovkin is of a certain age now. I want to give you a little analogy. You're 20 years old and you go on holiday with your friends and you happen to meet a woman who's 40. She's twice your age, but she's exquisitely resplendent, breathtakingly radiant, and you can't help but muster up the courage to approach her. To your shock and awe, it seems to work. She likes you, and you start a passionate liaison. It lasts for 2 weeks, but it's one that you will never forget for the rest of your life. You end up going back home. You assume that's all it will ever be, a holiday fling, but you can't get her out of your mind. It was the best 2 weeks of your life. The years pass, the decades pass, and now you're 45 years old, and you still can't help but think of that woman. And there you are now, deciding at 45 years old, in your midlife crisis, you need to relive what you once felt when you were 20. You need to find this woman. So you start going on a hunt. You get on social media. You're typing in her name, her maiden name, the places she used to tell you that she used to go, what friends she used to have. You manage somehow to track her down. You find her profile. But on her profile, all you see is one sunflower. That's it. The rest of the profile's on private. You can't see anything. You don't know anything about her. But you message her. You hit it off straight away. Your passion is fervent. You can't believe what you feel again. You're right back to being 20 years old, yearning for this woman. And she agrees to meet up. You've actually arranged a date. You can't believe it. You're going to relive everything that you lived. But all of a sudden, you turn up. And you realize that it's not that radiant 40-year-old that took your breath away all those years ago. She's now 65. And she looks 75. And she's happy to see you. But there's no passion there. You built this thing up in your mind. In reality, it's different now. She's a lady with other priorities. She's got grandchildren. She's not interested in what you're interested in. Nor can she provide what it is that you are yearning for. And so the entire love affair metamorphosizes in your mind to become something else. Something more disappointing. Is that what we would see if we saw Canelo Golovkin 3? Because sometimes when you attempt to rekindle something that should never have been rekindled, you can actually affect the happy memories, the idealized memories of what initially existed. And is that what we could see here? Could we see the third fight taint the rivalry as a whole? Because the third chapter of the trilogy would be such a mismatch that people just won't look at the first 2 fights in the same way again? There is, of course, a flip side to that coin, however. If Gennady Golovkin looked sensational against Murata, and so we all wanted to see the fight, what would happen if Golovkin somehow was to beat Canelo Alvarez? What would that do for his legacy? I mean, talking of history, that would go down as an elite win in the annals of the boxing game. Personally, I can't see it happening, however. Moving on from that, Shawn Porter has created some controversy by saying that Jaron Boots Ennis is overrated. This is a guy he's waxed lyrical about on numerous occasions in the past. Boots did not take kindly to this, and you'd expect that sort of clap back from a young athlete who's looking to establish himself in the sport. He came out and he said, listen, all of a sudden I'm overrated now that you're retired. Why don't you come out of retirement and I'll show you exactly how good I am. So Boots with a fighting talk there. But I actually think that a lot of people have misunderstood what Shawn Porter's trying to say. Shawn Porter was basically alluding to the fact that Boots has yet to fight the very best in the division. And so we're perhaps getting ahead of ourselves. Now, I myself am a guy who rates Boots very, very highly. But it is true that he's yet to really prove himself. We know that he does get touched a lot. Offensively, we can see the skills there. Great athleticism, great agility and upper body movement, fantastic shot selection. He's powerful. He's got everything you could want, offensively speaking. But defensively, he can get caught a little bit. Against some of the biggest punchers in the division, if his power is not just wiping guys out, how do you know that he doesn't get clipped and get taken out? We don't yet know. There are elements that are unknown at this point, variables that still need to be established for us. And what Shawn Porter is basically saying is that. And a lot of people have misunderstood the term overrated. What does overrated actually mean? I want you to imagine, I'm going to give you another analogy. Imagine you've got a computer game and it's filled with boxers. And every boxer has a rating between 1 and 100. And the highest rated boxer on the game is rated at 95. Now, you may feel that he's only worthy of being rated at 90. Now, that might still mean he's the highest rated boxer in the game. The next highest one might be 88. What you're saying is not that he's not the best. What you're saying is that he's not quite 95. His rating has been exaggerated. He is overrated. So that's essentially what Shawn Porter's saying. The idea that this guy is an uncrowned champion is premature because we haven't seen him fight any B-rate fighters, let alone the elite in the division. So how can we say he's uncrowned? How can we say he deserves to have the crown of Crawford or Errol Spence or Ugas when he has yet to fight even guys below their level? That's not an unreasonable thing to say. I do believe that Boots will go on to have a terrific career, and I have no doubt he will become a world champion. But people need to chill a little bit with getting on Shawn Porter's back here. He's not hating. Try and understand what it is that he's trying to say. And what he's ultimately saying is a compliment if you think about it. Because what he's saying is, this guy's terrific, and it's about time we see him fight some other terrific guys. Because we're seeing this pattern again in the United States. And I'm not trying to hate on the American fighters out there. And I've got a lot of American subscribers. I love and appreciate each and every one of you guys. But the reality is, you do have this pattern that is existing in the United States where you have a lot of top fighters who are crowned before they're necessarily fighting even B-rate fighters. Deontay Wilder was terrific. You've heard me here say on this channel that he's one of the great heavyweights, that he would be a danger to any heavyweight in history. But who is his best win? Luis Ortiz, right? Who's his best win after Luis Ortiz? This is the point. Fighters get blown up before they build up a really effective CV. We see it in the lightweight division too. Devin Haney, terrific fighter, no doubt about it. In my opinion, he would be the slight favourite against George Kambosos in what would be a terrific fight. But who's the best fighter he's fought? Past his best, way past his best, Jorge Linares? A Jojo Diaz who's coming up a weight category? He's not fought anybody in the top 8. He's fighting guys on the periphery of the top 10. Tank Davis. How long's Tank Davis been around for? What a terrific fighter Tank is. Had Tank and Loma fought earlier in their careers, that's one of the defining fights for either guy, whoever comes out on top. Terrific fight. He's a terrific talent. But who's his best win? Pedraza? Why isn't he fighting the best guys available to him? And yet he's crowned, right? A lot of people put this guy on a pedestal as being in the pound for pound list. You see it with Errol Spence. Now, Errol Spence has fought some real guys. There's no doubt about it. But for Errol Spence to be on that pound for pound list, like a lot of people put him, he has to beat the best in at least his own division. So until he fights Crawford, how do we know he's the best in his own division? Yes, don't get me wrong, the Ugas fight's a brilliant fight. I'm not undermining it. But can you really be pound for pound top 10 when you've not established yourself as the best in your own division? And this is a pattern that we're seeing in the United States. We want to see these terrific fighters, and there's no doubt that Boots a terrific fighter, fight other terrific fighters. This is all we want as boxing fans. Thanks for watching, ladies and gents. Tell me if you disagree or agree with anything that I've said in this video. Take care. God bless.